Hello guys, welcome back. In the previous episode, we have seen how you could create a post through API. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how you could publish a post using API. Okay. So for that, I just created a route called publish post here. Yep. So publish post, which is gonna have a method publish in my post method. Yep. So this method is going to be publishing our post. Okay, so this actually takes two parameters here. One is the post ID and the other one is the revision ID. Okay, so I'll start the code here. So before that, I had a method to show you. Okay, so I created a method called read simple and. So it haven't existed before, so it's similar to read simple or. Okay, so instead of or clause, now it is going for and clause. So I'll explain you in a bit how we're going to use this. Okay, yeah. So coming to our database here, so if you check here, so always we need to check for the post ID and the revision ID. Okay, so last episode I have explained you guys the reason for putting -1. Okay, -1 indicates that this post hasn't been published. Okay, so if anyone tries to access this post other than the author, he will be indicated that the post hasn't been published or the post doesn't even exist in the database. Okay, in the blog I meant. So to find out, before we publish the post, like since this is an API, not a different end part, so as an API, we had to restrict that based on this one. The user will send a post ID. So first we have to check that post ID exists in our table of contents. Okay. So if that post ID exists along with the revision ID, then we'll permit him to continue or else we'll stop him. Right. So that's the reason why I have used AND clause here. So using AND clause, I'll check the post ID and the revision ID exist. So if those exist, then we'll put that particular revision ID into this table here. So that post ID will be updated with that particular revision ID. Okay. So let me start. The first thing we have to do is read. Okay. So dollar result equal to dollar this of db of read simple and. Okay, so I just created that. Okay, so we are getting on to the table which is the content. Okay, so we need to read the data from the content, so I'll just use this here. So for now I'll just only fetch a single number. Okay, so which is map underscore id, so that would be good. Okay, so I just only need the map id, and I'm going to pass the post underscore id and the oops, okay, revision underscore id. Okay, so for that we need to pass the values, right? So these should be an array. Okay, so these are an array, so we need to put them in that format. Okay, so you could check there is a syntax, guys, later. Okay, so the values also should be an arrays. Okay, so array, the first attribute is the dollar post id. Okay, okay, it doesn't need double quotes actually there. The next one is the revision id. Revision id, yep, close that and semicolon, just put that in this back. Yeah, so that's the query we're gonna make. Okay, so you could check the syntax, you'll understand because it's not so complex out there. Yeah, so if the query isn't successful, we have this thing here, query error code. Okay, that's a snippet we are using for so long. Yep, I'll put that. So now we have to check if dollar result of dollar length, okay, is greater than 1. Okay, so let's assume it's less than 1. Okay, so if it's less than 1, I'll simply use this one here, so this code here. Okay, so this code indicates if the post ID and revision ID are bad, I'll send this response. So I'll send the same response when I haven't found that particular post ID and the revision ID in my content table. Okay, so if I found them, okay, so for God's sake, if I just found them, I'll just use the update method to update my database with the revision ID. Okay, so dollar this db and update simple. Okay, semicolon. So the first the table name we are about to use is this one. Okay, the blog underscore post underscore metadata. Okay, that's the table name, put it. And next we are going to pass the actual column name and value. Okay, the column we are going to update is the revision ID, and then the revision ID's value, which is in revision ID. Okay, so for the where class I'll pass the post ID. Okay, the post ID is in the post and post ID. Yeah. Okay, so for this error handling we have this code here. Copy it and boom. So we are done with the code, so let's go for the testing. Okay, so here I have a post ID which is 100 and a revision ID 0. So actually the post ID 800 doesn't exist in our database. Okay, let's try. Let's give it a hit. So you could see I got status 400. So nothing has been mentioned. So that's a problem. Okay, let's see something like 7. Okay, actually 7 exists. Yeah, 7 is having -1 here. Okay, oops, 7 is here and it's having -1, which means it's haven't been published. Okay, it's giving me 400, so which means something went wrong. Okay, so the error I have noticed is here one. Okay, so it's actually post underscore revision. So we just all looked it recently, so that's actually the post underscore revision. So I just noticed it and now it should be corrected. So we click send, that should give me the status true. Okay, so if we say like 721, so which haven't been existing in our database, it should throw me an error saying that post incorrect details. Yep, that's working fine. So if I just give it 7 again. Okay, so if I give the 7 again and click on it, so now it still should say, because this post 7 ID exists and revision ID also exists. If I give the revision ID like 100, okay, so assume like 10. Okay, 10 even doesn't exist, so it should throw me an error because the post ID exists but the revision ID doesn't exist for that particular post. So that's how it works. Okay, so that's how you could publish your post, guys. So I'm just only concentrating on few complex things and not much more so in depth. So it's up to you how you wanna do it. So you could also put some restrictions over publishing the post or scheduling them. Could do a lot if you want. So even I'm not checking for the authorization right now because it's not required yet. Okay, so at these stages we are not at required that much. So I just want to give you a glance of how it works. Okay, that's it. So that's it for this episode, guys. I'll be meeting in the next episode. So hope you guys enjoyed for this episode. So you could still download all this backup from my SQL template and you could start your work if you want. Okay, feel free to use the code. The link will be in the description. Thank you. Bye bye, and make sure leave a like, guys, so that's really helpful for the channel. Bye bye.